Hello, amazing people in the world. Hey, so someone actually asked me to do a part two on the analyzer and the experiencer and how those are connected to the idea of manifestation. So I'm going to actually kind of go into some psychology here for a second to help you understand a little bit deeper about what's going on in the mind of, let's say, an overthinker or the analyzer, right? So this tends to be the person, and this might be you, and this is no judgment at all whatsoever, right? Is that you want to know how or even why something works the way it does. And so the analyzer is the person, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a desire for curiosity. In fact, your brain is primed for curiosity. In fact, here's a little quick neuroscientific backed hack on how you can change. If you want to change behavior, change states, or anything, okay, this is all proven. In that, what they've shown is that if you really want to change your behaviors, is you have to cultivate a spirit of curiosity. To me, that's kind of cool because I'm typically a curious person. So what that means is, yes, you can ask how, you can ask why. The problem is that when you end up with what's referred to as a closed feedback loop, where the how leads to another how, the how leads to another how, and the why leads to another why, or the how, like the how leads to the why. How is this working? But then why is it working? And then you're in an endless loop where, months pass even sometimes. And I wish I was exaggerating, but, the reality is what's going on is that if you do this over a long amount of time, meaning if you turn overthinking into a habit, you literally get rewarded for the habit of overthinking. Okay, so it's become now an addiction. So neuroscience shows that the more that you repeat a behavior, the more that the brain is processing all of the information as also becoming part of your prefrontal cortex. That's also where we begin to identify with what our behaviors are. So that isn't just saying I did that, it's I am that. Remember, I am is what is creating, okay? So I am is your awareness. It's your consciousness. It's ultimately what's driving the ship called the body. Okay. And so what's happening is that you've now turned what might have been just a simple situation that, might have had an easy solution into, I can't get out of this thing. But you're getting rewarded for not getting out. So in one sense, you're going to end up loving the prison more than you would love the freedom. Okay, so take that in, okay, that we are neuroscientifically getting rewarded for loving the endless cycle rather than actually leaving it. We love the hamster wheel, right? And so the way in which we can get out of this, and I talked about this a second ago, is become more curious. So then sometimes, and I've heard it said this way, sometimes you need to be able to doubt your doubts. What that means is question what you're doubting. Question the how with another how. Question the why with another why. So rather than, and I'm going to give you an example of how this can actually work, but rather than simply just asking why is, why am I asking why? So use your own power, your own mental ability to be inquisitive and curious, to put that back on yourself. So then you actually turn what seems to be an endless loop into a tool, into a way in which you can actually turn what you thought was taking your power away, now can be a superpower, right? That can actually liberate you and free you. And then you can get out of the loop. So that's step one, okay? Reframe it and look at what you think is a problem, i.e. overthinking, and then now turning it back on its head and reverse engineering and saying, I don't need to overthink because how is it that I'm overthinking, right? In one sense, and this is a technique I'm going to go into, I'm not a big fan of gaslighting, obviously, in general. That's not a good, safe way of having relationships with anybody in the world. But there is a technique like gaslighting that you can use within yourself. And that's gaslighting yourself. That is saying, oh my gosh, that's not something I would align with. Like, I don't align with financial lack. I don't align with the feeling of loneliness, right? And so you go about your day. Anytime that you are starting to loop, as in how, why, then start gaslighting. So this is tip 2. Gaslight yourself. Okay, like, wait a minute, that's not me. Like, I would never do that. That's like that person over there, right? And so you begin distancing yourself. And I shared in another video, and this is tip 3, is that you can actually use the power of disgust, not discussing, disgust, like ew, right? Oh my gosh, sorry. But you want to actually use that. And neuroscience shows that you can use the power of disgust to begin distancing yourself, not only from behaviors, but from ideas and even emotions. And so even the very fact of like, and I'm gonna make a funny face right now, but even the very fact of like making the actual disgust face, I'm not sure that's my disgust face, but that's my performance disgust face. We'll talk about that later. So what you want to end up doing is you want to use the power of disgust. Like, ew, like what? I would never do that. Like, that's just what? So again, it's like gaslighting, but now you're actually starting to emotionally distance yourself. Like, oh, like imagine you saw something gross or somebody doing something gross that you just really grossed you out, right? As if, right, share, right? Okay, if you know, you know. So what I want you to do is I want you to try these methods, okay? Because these methods actually work, because they don't just work because they're an idea. They actually, this is really cool. They actually produce the neurochemical release of disgust. So when you do that and you do it like you mean it, right? You do the face, you do the, don't do it in public too much. People might be like, what's wrong with you? So what you want to end up doing, though, is you want to get really good at being disgusted and responding towards those cycles, right? Like, ew, I would never overthink that. I don't need to. And then go about your day. And then in a free moment, then when you're in a clear space, just begin saturating from the positive, okay? So here's technique number 4. It's taken from Hebrew mysticism. And I'm going to be doing more videos on that as well. I'm in the middle of a 3 to 4, probably a 4-year course on the Kabbalah. So we're going to talk about that as well. But Hebrew mysticism has this phrase, and it's caught on actually just within Judaism as a whole, but it's called tikkun olam. But this is actually not just an idea. Most people use this as an idea for social justice. I'm a big fan of that, but at the same time, it's too surface level. Like, because remember, this is the psychological game. So what you're doing is tikkun olam means heal the world. That's actually not exactly what it literally means, but that's what we're using it at in the world today. So, but where's your world? Your world is now here. This is just a reflection, right? The world's in here. So healing the world, this is very key right here, because this is also the key to becoming a powerful manifester. Okay. And I really mean this. Is what you want to do is you want to cultivate a mindset where you just don't give a shit about doubt or fear or anger or whatever emotions you don't want to be dealing with. You just don't care about them anymore. They don't have value in the same way. They might show up, but they don't show up in such a powerful way anymore, right? And so how do you do that? Well, Tikkun Olam says the only way that you can heal the world isn't by responding to evil. It's by actually consuming the evil with the good. This is literally, by the way, and I'm going to go into other videos about how this is the case, but all throughout scripture, this idea of consumption, as in consuming and overriding and overpowering the evil with good, is all over. And in fact, that'll be another video that you guys can watch for today. But the idea is this: you consume the evil with good. So again, what does that mean? What that means is, if you are wanting to be in the state of a rich person, you don't sit there and just overthink about how you're not a rich person. You overthink about how you're a rich person. So again, this is about this is like the kind of like Overthinker's Bible like series today, okay? And this is just for those who are struggling with this, if you're an overthinker, because I think this is a very powerful method, and it's biblical, it's mystical, it's from the Kabbalah, right? And so begin identifying yourself as this new person. Give yourself, if that means you need to script out 10 thoughts, okay, script out 10 thoughts, and you just cycle through those every day in and day out. Whether you want to affirm it inside or outside, it doesn't matter, okay? But what you do is you cycle through the thoughts and the emotions and the feelings behind them, right, that are guiding them, and you saturate yourself. That's what it means to saturate yourself. Neville says that we need to intensify our imaginations, okay? What that means is you are intensifying it to the point of consumption. I keep using the word consumption. What that means is to the point of consuming your mind, to the point of not emotional fatigue. It's very different. I'm going to talk about that in a different video as well. The difference between saturation and affective fatigue, as it's called in the science field. Right? But what I want to do is I want to get you there to the point where if you're an overthinker, one, stop judging yourself, because all that's going to do is just keeping you in that cycle. Okay. But then two, use these 4 different methods. One of these are bound to work. I promise you. But this idea, especially the idea of Tikkun Olam, healing the world, healing the mental world, is coming to the point of consumption, right? Where you consume your mind with the feelings of the wish fulfilled. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that you don't take mental breaks. It doesn't mean you don't go about your day. That doesn't mean anything like that. It just means that you do it to the point of, I know I'm it. Like if that thought comes up, oh, no, we're not friends. Like, get away from me. We're not BFFs, right? So I want to encourage you to try these methods, share this with at least one person today, and share in the comments if you have tried any of these prior to this video, or if you're in the middle of trying these now, okay? Because I guarantee you, from somebody who is or tends to be an overthinker, right? I understand it, but I've been in the game, the manifestation game, for a while now, that now I know I can go straight into just embodiment. And we're going to go and break that down in another video today as well. So, overthinkers unite. Know that you're supported. Get in touch if you need extra support. That's what this is all about, right? We should be always finding people to play with, as in manifest things and support each other. So much love to you guys. Also, just to FYI, I do have a private Discord group. I also use that with my coaching clients, but there's also a general area. Would love to invite you to join. I should have a link somewhere. Watch the comments. So much love to you guys. Peace.